English learning podcast.
Listen, speak, and level up.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. I'm Linda.
And I'm Michael. Hey, Linda.
Hey Michael, you look a little caffeinated today. Did you hit the espresso hard?
I might have had a double shot right before we walked into the studio. Yeah. But also, I'm just really genuinely excited about what we're diving into today. Because, well, it's a bit heavy, but it's something everyone goes through.
Yeah, it really is. We were talking before the microphones went on about this weird phenomenon that happens in every kind of relationship. Romance, friendships, even with family. You enter this new dynamic, you're super excited, you want to make the other person happy, and then little by little, you just kind of start disappearing.
Disappearing. That's a heavy word, but it's so accurate. It's like you wake up one day, look in the mirror, and go, wait, who actually is this person?
Right. You start saying yes to things you absolutely hate. You give up your weekends, you stop doing your hobbies, like, I don't know, painting or playing video games or going to the gym, because you're so hyper-focused on keeping the peace or keeping the other person happy. You basically outsource all your joy to someone else.
Outsource your joy. Man, I need to write that down. That's a killer phrase. But it's true, right? You make them the sole manager of your happiness department. And spoiler alert, they usually didn't ask for that job, and they're going to screw it up.
Exactly. It's a terrible business model for a relationship. And honestly, I'm not speaking from some high and mighty place here. I've messed this up so many times in my past. I think a lot of our listeners are probably nodding along right now going, yep, been there, done that, currently doing that.
Oh, absolutely. But wait, before we get too deep, I can already hear the comments section buzzing. People are going to be like, oh, great. Linda and Michael are telling us to become selfish jerks who don't care about anyone else.
No, no, no. Let's clear the air right now. There is a massive, massive difference between being self-centered and practicing healthy self-priority. Being a doormat doesn't make you a good partner or a good friend. It just makes you resentful.
Resentful. Yeah, that's the poison right there.
Exactly. So today, we're just going to have a real, unfiltered chat about how to stay anchored in who you are. We're going to talk about emotional stability, not letting your moods hijack the room, making time for your own life, keeping your money separate and independent, and avoiding that toxic, codependent attachment. And hey, for everyone listening who's learning English, don't worry. We're using total everyday slang, real idioms, and natural expressions. No textbook garbage today.
Just pure, unadulterated reality. Let's do it.
All right, so let's kick things off with this idea of emotional stability. Because when we talk about being steady or stable, I think people get the wrong idea. They think it means you have to turn into a robot. Like, oh, I can never get angry. I can never feel sad or jealous. I just have to be this flat line of emotion.
Right? Like a Zen monk who just shrugs everything off. Which, let's be honest, is impossible unless you live in a cave.
Exactly. It's totally okay to feel ugly emotions. We all get jealous. We all get petty. The trick, the actual adult part of this, is not letting those bad moods ruin everyone else's day. It's about taking ownership.
Man, that reminds me of... I actually haven't told you this story, Linda. It's kind of embarrassing, but whatever. We're being vulnerable today, right?
Ooh, I love an embarrassing Michael story. Go on, spill the tea.
Okay, so this was I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I was working at this digital agency, and my absolute best friend at the time, Dave, we shared a desk. We grabbed lunch every day. We were super tight. We both applied for the same senior manager role. It was a huge step up, way better pay, a lot of prestige, and I wanted it bad. I worked overtime. I stayed up late prepping my interview, and Dave got it.
Oh, ouch. That's a tough pill to swallow.
Dude, it was brutal. And here's the thing, I didn't congratulate him and say, "Hey, I'm jealous, but I'm happy for you." No, I took the coward's way out. I became this passive-aggressive nightmare. He'd walk into the office and be like, "Hey, Mike, want to grab a burrito?" And I'd just stare at my screen and go, "Too busy. Got work." Just total cold shoulder. Short texts, one-word answers, sighing loudly whenever he was on a call.
Yikes. The classic silent treatment. How long did you keep that up?
Like 3 weeks. It was pathetic. And the worst part was, Dave had no idea how to handle it. He started walking on eggshells around me. He felt guilty for winning. And then one Tuesday, the coffee machine in the break room jammed, and he made some stupid joke like, "Man, this machine hates us today." And I just blew up. I started shouting at him about how he thinks he owns the place now. Just completely irrational.
Wow. Over a jammed coffee machine. But it wasn't about the coffee, was it?
Not at all. It was 100% about my own bruised ego and jealousy. I didn't know how to look at myself in the mirror and say, "Hey, Michael, you're hurting right now." And that's fine. But Dave didn't do anything wrong. Instead, I projected all that garbage onto him. We didn't speak for months after that argument. We eventually patched things up, but the relationship was never quite the same.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that, seriously, because that is exactly what I mean. When you don't have emotional stability, you look at your partner or your friend and you basically blame them for your internal weather. If it's raining inside your head, you demand that they carry the umbrella.
Yes, exactly. You hand them the remote control to your brain.
Right. So, a massive phrase that I had to learn to use in my own life. And listeners, pay attention to how this is structured because it changes everything. Is saying something like, "Look, I'm feeling really overwhelmed right now," or "I'm feeling super insecure today," but that doesn't mean you did anything wrong.
Oh, that is so powerful. Say that again.
"I'm feeling really anxious," but that doesn't mean you did anything wrong. See what that does? It completely separates your emotional state from their actions. You're taking responsibility. You're telling them, "Hey, I'm in a bad place right now. I might need to go for a walk, or write in my journal, or just stare at a wall for an hour, but you are not my punching bag."
It takes so much pressure off the other person because when you just stomp around the house slamming doors, the other person naturally goes into survival mode. They start thinking, "What did I do? How do I fix this?" And then boom, you've hijacked their entire day.
Exactly. If you pin your bad feelings on someone else, you basically hand them total power over your inner peace. And honestly, no one should have that much control over how you feel inside.
Amen to that. Keep the remote control in your own pocket.
So, moving on to point number 2, which ties right into this self-care. And look, let's clarify this immediately because the internet has completely ruined the word self-care. People think it means buying a $50 scented candle, taking a bubble bath, and drinking champagne on a Tuesday morning.
Man, If that's self-care, I've been doing it totally wrong. I thought self-care was just, like, remembering to eat a vegetable once in a while.
It is. Real self care is incredibly boring. It's getting 8 hours of sleep. It's eating a proper meal instead of surviving on iced coffee and stress. It's keeping up with your hobbies and, most importantly, protecting your alone time. But when we get into relationships, what's the first thing we throw out the window?
Oh, our own schedule. Instantly. It's like, oh, you want to hang out? Let me cancel my entire life for the next 3 days to accommodate you.
Yes, it's the classic aviation rule, right? What do the flight attendants say every single time you take off? Put your own oxygen mask on before helping others. But in real life, we see someone we like, we rip our mask off, throw it at them, and then wonder why we're suffocating.
That is a great visual. Why am I fainting? Oh, right, because I gave away my lungs. But seriously, it's so easy to fall into that trap. You feel like you're being this incredibly loving, devoted partner, but you're actually just burning the candle at both ends.
Totally. I had a classmate back in university. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah was this vibrant, incredible girl. She was a hardcore yogi, went to classes 3 times a week, read a book a night, just full of life. Then she started dating this guy. And look, he wasn't a bad guy. He wasn't abusive or anything. But Sarah just went into full devotion mode.
Oh no, I know exactly where this is going.
It was painful to watch. He didn't have a car. So she started skipping her morning yoga classes just to drive him to his job across town. He was a night owl, so even though she had 8:00 a.m. lectures, she would stay up until 2 a.m. watching movies with him because she didn't want him to feel lonely. She stopped reading. Her room became a mess because she was always at his place doing his laundry and hanging out.
Wow, she just completely dissolved her own life to merge into his.
Completely. And the kicker? About 3 or 4 months into this, she came over to my apartment, sat on my couch, and just started sobbing hysterically, like ugly crying. And I was panicked. I was like, "Did you guys break up? Did something happen?" And she looked at me and said, "Linda, I don't even know what I like anymore. If he asks me what I want for dinner, I genuinely don't have an opinion. I feel like a ghost."
Man, I feel like a ghost. That is heartbreaking, but it's so real. She thought she was building a deep connection, but she was actually just erasing her identity line by line.
Exactly. And that's why we need to hit home this core belief. And I want everyone listening to repeat this in their heads. Looking after my own needs does not mean I am neglecting yours.
Say that louder for the people in the back, honestly.
It's true. If I go to the gym or if I take a Saturday afternoon to just sit in a coffee shop by myself and read, I am not rejecting you. I am recharging my battery so that when I am with you, I actually have something to give instead of just bringing an empty, exhausted shell of a person to the table.
Right, because an empty cup can't pour anything. So let's talk practical strategy here. How do you actually stop doing the Sarah thing? For me, I had to start literally blocking out time in my Google Calendar. Like, I will put a big purple block on Thursday evening that says Michael time.
I love that.
It sounds silly, but it works. If someone, even a close friend or a girl, I'm seeing asks, "Hey, want to grab drinks Thursday?" I look at my calendar, and I don't lie, but I say, "Hey, I actually have plans that night. Can we do Friday instead? The plan is just me sitting in my sweatpants playing PlayStation. But guess what? That is a legitimate, high-priority commitment to my mental health.
That is so crucial. And look at the phrasing Michael just used. It's polite, it's clear, and it's firm. You can literally just say, I need some time for myself right now. Can we catch up later? If the person loves the real you, they will say, awesome, enjoy your night. See you Friday. If they throw a tantrum because you need a few hours to breathe, well, that's a red flag waving right in your face.
Absolutely. No guilt allowed. You have a right to your own evening.
All right, let's pivot to a topic that makes everyone immediately uncomfortable. You can even hear it in my voice. We're talking about money.
Ugh, financial talk. The ultimate mood killer. Can we go back to talking about yoga and PlayStation?
No! Put your grown-up pants on, Michael, we're doing this. Because look, financial independence is one of the single biggest pillars of keeping your identity in a relationship. And let me clarify, I am not saying you need to be a millionaire or have a massive trust fund.
Right. We're not saying you need to be a corporate CEO.
No, not at all. It just means you have enough of your own income or to stand on your own 2 feet. It means your day-to-day survival, your rent, your food, your ability to buy a train ticket does not depend entirely on another person's mood or approval or decisions. Because the second one person holds all the purse strings, the power dynamic in that relationship is completely warped.
Oh, it shifts instantly. It goes from a partnership of equals to a boss and employee situation. And that is a recipe for disaster. But Linda, this isn't just about romantic couples living together. I've seen this wreck deep friendships too.
Oh, tell me about it.
So, back in my 20s, I had this buddy who was, let's just say he came from a very wealthy family. He had a massive corporate job, making triple what I was making at my entry-level gig. And whenever we went out, he'd insist on going to these incredibly pricey, high-end steak joints or cocktail lounges. I'd look at the menu and internally sweat, thinking about my bank account. And he'd always wave his hand and go, "Don't worry about it, Mike. I got this. Put your wallet away."
Well, that sounds nice on the surface, but I feel like there's a catch.
There's always a catch. At first, I thought, wow, what a generous guy. But over the next year, I noticed this weird shift. Because he paid for everything, he felt like he owned my time. If he called me at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday and said, "Hey, come over and help me move this couch," and I said, "Dude, I'm tired. I have work tomorrow," he would literally bring up the past dinners. He'd say stuff like, "Wow, seriously? After I took you out to that Michelin star place last week? I thought we were boys."
Wow, that is so manipulative. He was basically keeping a emotional ledger.
Exactly. It was an invisible contract. Every free meal was just a loan that he expected me to pay back with total compliance. It made me feel so small and honestly, so trapped. I eventually had to draw a hard line and say, "Look, man, if we hang out, we're going to a cheap pub and we're going halves. If you don't like that, I can't come out."
That takes a lot of guts, Michael, seriously. Because it's awkward to say that, but you saved your self-respect.
I had to. Otherwise, I was just a paid companion.
Exactly. And that's why keeping your own financial world intact is so vital. Have your own bank account. Even if you're married, have a separate account that is just yours. Keep your part-time job, keep your savings. This isn't about being sneaky. It's not about doubting the other person or planning for a divorce or a friendship breakup. It's about respecting yourself.
Respect for yourself instead of distrust toward others. That's a really crucial distinction.
Yes, I always tell people to frame it like this: I am working on my financial independence so that I can love freely, not fearfully. Think about that. If you are with someone because you love them, that's beautiful. But if you are staying with someone because you literally cannot afford to pay first month's rent on a new apartment if you leave, that's not love. That's a hostage situation.
Man, that is punch in the gut honest. But it's the truth. Financial vulnerability makes you accept bad behavior that you would never normally tolerate if you had a financial safety net.
Exactly. So talk about money openly. Set boundaries. If a group of friends wants to go on a trip that's out of your budget, don't just put it on a credit card to look cool, and don't let someone else pay for you if it makes you feel obligated. Just say, hey, that's outside my spending limit right now. You guys go have fun. Let's do something cheaper next month. It's powerful to own your financial limits. Now, our final point today is about over-reliance, or what psychologists call unhealthy attachment. Now, let's be fair. When you care about someone, you want to see them. You want their advice. You want their company. That is totally normal. We are social animals. The problem starts when you can't make a single decision without running it by them first.
Oh, like the people who can't even pick out a shirt or order a lunch item without texting their partner a photo going, should I get this one or that one?
Yes. Or people who feel this intense, spiking anxiety the minute their friend or partner goes out of town for a weekend. Like, oh my God, they haven't texted me back in 3 hours. Are they mad at me? What am I supposed to do with my Saturday? That is a sign that your identity has completely fused into theirs.
I am raising my hand right now. I have totally been that anxious, clingy person before.
Really? Tell me.
Oh, back in my early 20s, I dated this girl, and I was so insecure. Whenever she went out with her coworkers or her friends without me, I would just sit on my couch, stare at my phone, and wait for her to text. I wouldn't get angry at her. I wasn't a controlling monster. But when she came home, I'd look super down and sad. And she'd ask, "What's wrong?" And I'd say, "Oh, nothing. I just missed you so much. I didn't know what to do with myself."
Oof, that puts a lot of heavy emotional weight on her shoulders.
Dude, it was exhausting for her. She started feeling guilty every time she wanted to go see her mom or have a girls' night out. So, because she loved me, she started turning down invitations. She stopped seeing her friends. And then, guess what happened?
Let me guess, she started resenting you.
Big time. And I started resenting her too, in this weird, twisted way. The relationship just suffocated. We eventually broke up, and it was the best thing that could have happened, because it taught me a massive lesson. Love needs space. It's like a fire, right? If you stack the logs too close together, there's no oxygen, and the fire goes out. You need that gap between the logs for the flame to actually breathe and grow.
Wow, Michael, that fire and air metaphor is actually beautiful. Did you steal that from a book?
I might have read it in a psychology blog somewhere, yeah, but it stuck with me because it's so true. Healthy connection means you choose to be with someone. Unhealthy attachment means you feel like you cannot survive without them.
Yes, You are an independent, fully functioning adult before they met you. You don't need them to complete you. And that brings us to our final mindset shift. I am complete on my own. Relationships add joy to my life. They don't define who I am.
Exactly. You are the main character of your life movie. They are a magnificent co-star, but they are not the director, and they are not the whole script. Keep your own friends. Keep your own solo hobbies. Let them have their separate life, and trust that space is actually what keeps the relationship alive.
Wow, we covered a lot of ground today, Michael. My brain feels like it's had a full workout.
Same here. But honestly, it's good to just lay it all out there. If we had to summarize the whole big picture for the listeners today, it's just about being mindful. Watch your emotional ownership, self-care time like it's $1 million asset. Keep your bank account yours, and give your relationships some breathing room.
Absolutely. And before we close out this episode, I just want to talk directly to anyone out there who is listening to this right now while sitting in their car or walking their dog and feeling that heavy, sinking realization that they've lost themselves. Maybe you haven't seen your own friends in a year. Maybe you're financially stuck. Maybe you're terrified of setting a boundary because you think they'll leave.
It is never, ever too late to pull yourself back. You don't have to blow up your life tomorrow morning. Just start with micro steps. Today, say no to one small thing you don't want to do. Tomorrow, set aside 15 minutes to read that book you abandoned. Next week, open up that savings account. The people who genuinely love the real you, they will stay. They will actually respect you more when you start standing up.
Yeah, and honestly, if someone decides to pack their bags and walk away just because you started setting healthy boundaries, let them walk. They didn't love you. They just loved the compliant, quiet version of you that gave up all personal limits for their convenience. You're better off without that dynamic.
That is the absolute truth, Michael. Be brave enough to be yourself. Treat others with kindness, absolutely. But always, always be gentle to yourself first.
Well said. Thanks for hanging out with us today on the English Learning Podcast, everyone. I'm Linda.
And I'm Michael. Keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, stay true to who you are. Catch you in the next episode.